that the effort on Top Kill continues. Whether it will work or not, Congressman Lewis, is still an unknown. It is a dynamic process. The first efforts that went forward yesterday were not successful, so there are other efforts that are underway to try to deal with the Top Kill and to try to shut in this well. If those efforts fail today and maybe overnight, we have made sure that there are Plan Bs and Plan Cs and Plan Ds. And what I can assure this committee on behalf of the constituents that you represent and the American people is that we have the best minds of the world that are focused on this problem. With respect to BP being accountable and liable here, we have in writing from them at the request of Secretary Napolitano and myself in meetings that we've had with the principals of BP, including the chairman of the board and president, that they will not hide behind the $75 million liability cap, and that they will be responsible for all response costs, as well as natural resource damages, as well as other damages that may be affected by this. Liz Birnbaum has resigned as the director of the Minerals Management Service. She did it on her own terms and her own volition. But I will say this about Liz Birnbaum. She is a strong and very effective person who, among other things, helped us break through the very difficult issues on standing up offshore wind in the Atlantic, where we are still have a lot more work to do. She helped us in moving forward and addressing what was a very broken system that we found when I came into the Department of Interior. And all I can really tell this committee is she is a good public servant. We have done tremendous work to essentially deal with what you and other members of this committee raised as a culture of corruption and reprehensible conduct that existed at the Minerals Management Service. We have worked on it from day one. Chairman Moran, I know reading the latest Inspector General's report, will note that all that conduct, even though most people here in Washington and most newspapers haven't focused in on the dates, was all focused back in the prior administration. And yes, it was a time when the oil and gas resources of this country essentially were allowed to be taken without the kind of review and the kind of protection of the natural resources that we needed to have. And so, as Secretary of the Interior, I'm proud of the reform efforts that we've taken across the board. We need to put the pause button with respect to Deepwater. And that's because we need to make sure that the lessons from this horrific tragedy are learned. We also recognize, and I think this has been clear from the beginning of this administration, that we see oil and gas development as part of the energy portfolio for the future, along with solar and wind and geothermal and biomass. The reality is that the place where you have the abundance of oil and gas reserves is still in the outer continental shelf. And so I think it is important that we move forward thoughtfully. And so when we're talking about hitting the pause button, we're talking about taking the time out to essentially learn what exactly happened here to do everything we can to assure that it doesn't happen again.